Hi everyone, it's me, Miles at Teach Me Music Academy, and today we're going to be looking into practice habits. Now, first of all, we're going to have a look at different learning styles, then we'll have a look at different ways of learning songs, and then I'll give you some tips for good practice habits. So, it's a good idea to know what learning style you are. There's different ways of approaching learning a song, and some people prefer to use one way and some people prefer to use another way. So some people are listeners. They like to listen to a recording and figure out what the notes are from there, and you know, let their ear guide them. Some people are more visual, so they're readers. They like to read music and do it that way. Some people like to be shown what to do and use their muscle memory. So those kind of people might have lessons and the teacher shows them how to play a particular song, or they might look up YouTube tutorials. Me personally, I like to use my ears and I like to use my muscle memory a lot, but I'm not a natural reader. Never have been, probably never will be. But because I know this, I do make sure I practice reading music and I practice sight reading. You should definitely practice all of these approaches. It's good to at least be somewhat competent in all of them, even though you know, obviously, where your strengths lie. So that leads us then to the different ways of learning a song. So, like I said before, you can learn a song by ear. So if you want to work out a vocal melody on piano, you know, let's happy birthday, let's find out where that note is. It's around there somewhere, right? Happy birthday. Right, and you can kind of figure out where you need to go from there. That obviously links to learning scales as well. That really helps a knowing theory. That helps if you're an oral listener to be able to know what sequence of notes you've got at your disposal in any key. You could also learn a song by reading the music. So this one, you need to make sure there's actually music available for it. And the problem with this one is, I mean, it's okay if you're playing classical music, because most of the time classical music is very well documented when it comes to sheet music. Popular music, not so much. So maybe you have to look at chord charts, which aren't always actually reliable, because, for example, like Ultimate Guitar, which is a chord chart site, kind of anyone can just put chord charts on there, like a bit like Wikipedia, and it's not always right. Trust me, I've had a look at some that were just really, really bad. And this is when, like I said, practicing your weaknesses. If this sounds like you should really be practicing your listening skills, and if you want to start doing that, check out the listening skills video. But yeah, as I was saying, reading music is a good skill, especially if you play classical music. If you play popular music, there might not be as much written music available for that style, so you might want to think about practicing other methods on top of that. And then obviously we've got people who like to use their muscle memory and, you know, looking at the notes visually and being shown what to do. So you can go onto YouTube, type in piano tutorial, you can have lessons and ask a teacher to show you how to play something. Again, this one, it does have its problems because somebody else might not have learnt the song right either. So relying on somebody else to show you what to do all the time, you know, they might make mistakes too. So it's really important to practice all of these things, right? So no matter which style you're doing, you have a method of learning the song no matter what. Okay, cool. And obviously we're covering all of those in this video series. So we've got videos on reading music, we've got videos on using your ears, and there's videos on, you know, showing you where the notes are and showing you some good techniques and a little bit of theory too, to help people who are more hands-on, muscle memory people. Okay, so that's basically all the different ways you can learn music. And now on to good practice habits. So, what I like to do when I set aside some time to practice, I like to practice things in a certain order. So I always put the boring stuff first and the interesting stuff as, like a reward for myself later. So, for example, if you've watched the finger techniques video, you'll know that we can use the C position exercise as a warm-up. So I like to stick that first because, nobody wants to sit there doing this for hours, do that. It's not very fun. So it motivates you if, you're excited to go on the piano and you go, oh yeah, I've been learning this really cool piece, can't wait to play it. But if you play the really cool piece, chances are you're not going to want to do the boring stuff after. So do the boring technique stuff first because it warms your fingers up, it makes sure you practice it on a regular basis, and it's just going to make you a better player, which is what we want to do, right? So that's one thing. Another thing is to always check your technique. So go and check the posture video, go and check the finger technique video. In the beginning stages of learning, it's really important that you're consciously aware of all these things. Is my back straight? Where's my elbows? Is my wrist straight? Are my fingers curved? All these things you should be thinking about. So don't rush into learning a song, any old way. Stop, slow it down, analyze what you're doing, see where your mistakes are, try and iron them out. It is frustrating and it is tedious, but this is the stage where you need to be tedious the most. The beginning stages are the most important because you're setting up the foundation, right? You're supposed to be learning good habits, not bad ones. If you learn bad habits, you're going to have to iron them out later on, and you're not going to want to do it because I had to do that, to be honest. When I first started learning, I was about 14, and I tried to teach myself, right? And I tried to make certain shortcuts because I just wanted to play tunes. I wasn't interested in learning basic technique. Like I said, I just wanted to learn tunes. And then as the tunes got more difficult, I wasn't able to play the more challenging stuff. And I kind of got frustrated, like, why? Why have I hit this brick wall? So then I took myself to lessons, and that's where my teacher had to say to me, look, we're going to have to go back to basics because there's so many things you're doing wrong. Some people, and the people who this is aimed towards usually are people who are musically inclined, right? So if you've already got maybe ear for music, then what those people tend to do is rush into it. You don't want to do that, trust me, because when you get to more advanced stages, if you have to go back and play the basics, it's going to be so boring, okay? You're not going to want to do it because it feels like you're taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back. So now is the time to get a solid foundation, practice the boring stuff. So later down the road, it remains it remains part of your technique, and you don't have to worry about it when you're playing more advanced stuff. Okay, so last thing, I get asked this question a lot, is how long does it take to learn the piano? There is no number. I can't tell you, it's going to take 1, 2 years, whatever. It depends on your goals. If you want to be playing, I don't know, Chopin's Ballade in G minor, you're going to have to be playing for a good few years before you can even attempt a piece like that, right? If your goal is to just play Happy Birthday, maybe you can do that in a couple of weeks, a couple of months, depends on your goals. But say if you want to be literally as good as you can possibly be, I'd say the first year is going to be learning the basics. Don't expect to be playing anything spectacular or amazing in 1 year. Now, obviously, some people might learn quicker than others, so that might be, a slightly shorter timescale for some people and a slightly longer timescale for others. But I find usually around a year is the point where people start to get a little bit more competent, where they feel like they can enjoy it a little bit more and have a little bit more freedom playing the piano or keyboards. Hopefully, you've taken these on board, and I will see you in another one. Cheers, guys.